What's going on, everybody? Con here with Caliber Whips, and today in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your very own bullwhip out of just 4 simple materials, $15, and only 30 minutes of your time. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, let's get started with the tools that you're going to need to build this whip. You're just going to need a pair of scissors, a normal Bic lighter, and then a tape measure. Now I actually like to hold the tape measure out to 3 feet and measure every cord by 3-foot sections, so 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. So you don't have to worry about getting a big old 25-foot tape measure to measure each strand. You can just do it by counting threes. That's how I've been doing it for the last year and a half. All right, so let's move on to the materials. Okay, so these are the materials that you're going to need for the whip. You only need 4 materials, and depending on what you have on hand, if you get it all from scratch, it'll be about 15 bucks. So $1.50 for the tape, $1.50 for the dowel rod, $5 for the paracord, and then $7 for the ball chain. That's about $15. Now I'm going to kind of go over some of the details real quick about each item. The the electrical tape, it doesn't matter what brand it is. I just happen to have Scotch, but you can get like the really cheap commercial electric. It doesn't matter as long as it's electrical tape. Now the dowel rod, I just have a 12-inch section that is 3/4 inch diameter. So be sure to get that because we're going to need a thicker handle. For the paracord, we're going to need 60 feet of cord, and it has to be 550 paracord because we need the inner strands to make the little cracker that goes at the end of the whip. So make sure it's 550 paracord with the little 7 inner strands, because that is very important. We're going to need that later. So you're going to need 60 feet of that. And then for the ball chain, you're going to need 12 feet of this material, and you can get this in like the ceiling fan section at the hardware store. This is the stuff that kind of hangs off of fans or lamps that you just pull to change the lights or turn them off and on, or adjust the speed if it's a fan. So get 12 feet of this, and I think that pretty much does it. This is all you need to build the instant whip, so let's get started. Okay, so I took a piece of cord about 1.5 feet long and I tied it to my bench here, and then I took a piece of parachute cord that is 14 feet. Alright, so I'll list off the strand lengths right here. So these are the strand lengths that you're going to need right here. It is 14 feet, 12 feet, 10 feet, 8 feet, 6 feet, 4 feet, and then 2 feet. This is what you're going to need for the strand lengths. So we have our 14-foot section right here. Now we're only going to do the thing that we're going to do here is what we're only going to do to the 14-foot strand. So all the other strands are going to be attached differently except for this one. So we're going to tie a little knot right here, just like that. That didn't turn out very well, but oh well. It doesn't matter. So we're just going to do this right here, and we're going to attach it to the base like that. Then we have our piece of electrical tape. I'm just going to kind of cover that to kind of keep it secured. There we go. Just like that. Now, what we're going to do, you can see, the reason why we're attaching it like this is because we're going to need this loop at the end of the whip for later. I'll show you guys what this is for later on, but that's how we're going to attach the first one. Now we're going to attach our 12-foot section. Alright, we have our 12-foot section right here. Now what we're going to do is take the 2 ends, line them up in half like that, and what we're going to do is slide it through our little loop we've created here, and we're going to make sure that they're still straight, but drag this across just like that until the halfway point reaches this part right here. All right, and the purpose of this right here is we're going to create a taper effect with the whip. So each strand right here now should be exactly 6 feet. So this should be 6 feet, and this should be 6 feet. So what we're going to do here is grab our piece of tape, our electrical tape, and then our scissors. The purpose of the tape here now is to just secure it. There we go. So it doesn't move around while we go grab our other strands. So now we're going to move on to our 10-foot section. Alright, so we have our 10-foot section right here. We're going to do the exact same thing as before. We're going to take it and feed it through our loop, making sure that the exact middle stays on the loop, just like that. Then we're going to take a piece of electrical tape and wrap it around. Just like that. And now we're going to repeat this step with the 8-foot, 6-foot, 4-foot, and 2-foot section. Alright, now that all the strands are attached, what we're going to do is untie this little knot here, and I'm going to lay this out on the floor and show you how I'm going to taper this whip. Alright, so I have this whip laid down on the floor, and what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be cutting the sections that are together. We're going to cut one of them 6 inches short. Alright, so let me show you guys real quick. So here's our 2-foot section, here's our 4-foot, our 6-foot, then there's our 8-foot, 10-foot, and then 12-foot. So for each section, what you're going to do is you're going to pick one, it doesn't matter, and then you're going to cut it halfway, or 6 inches short underneath the one below it. So for this, it's halfway, but for this one, you're going to want to cut one of them 6 inches short there, 6 inches short there, and so on. Alright, so everywhere where you see two strands that are together, cut one of them 6 inches shorter than the other one. I'm not going to do that here because this pair of scissors, I need 2 hands because this is a cheap pair of scissors. But yeah, so I thought I'd show you guys on the ground just to kind of show you guys exactly what needs to get done, because this step can be a little bit hairy if you're new to this. So just make sure that each strand is cut 6 inches below the other one if you see them together. Alright, so assuming you've done that, we're going to move on and I'm going to show you guys how to attach the ball chain and how to cut it up into its proper sections. Alright, so for our 12-foot section of ball chain, what I've gone ahead and did was I cut it into 3 sections. We have a 6-foot section, a 4-foot section, and then a 2-foot section. So what I'm going to do here is take our 3 pieces and I'm going to attach it just like this to the base of our foundation. So I got our electrical tape. Then I'm going to attach all 3 pieces to our tape. There we go. Just like that. Now we're not going to cut the tape yet. What we're going to do is we're actually going to wrap this piece of tape all the way down to the end of our whip, and we're going to stop at a certain point, and I'll show you what that point looks like when we get there. Alright, so as you guys can see, we finished wrapping up the whole thing. You want to make sure it is as straight as possible, all the strands are, when you go to wrap it. But basically this is what I wanted to show you guys here. When you get to the end, leave this itty bitty loop right here out of the cord. That's why we made our 14-foot section the way we did, because we want to make this little loop here because we're going to attach what's called a fall to the end of our whip, and this is basically kind of a fake English eye fall hitch where the fall is very easy to replace. So that's why we did this here. Now the next step you're going to want to do is throw your whip on the ground, and you're going to want to roll it like a Play-Doh snake. So basically like this. The purpose of this is to pretty much evenly distribute the tension throughout the length of the whip. It'll make cracking the whip a whole lot easier to do. So just basically go up and down like a Play-Doh snake and roll the whip. Alright, so what I've gone ahead and did was I've taken 2 pieces of electrical tape and I've attached it to the whip and then attached it to the handle. But this is not enough, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull these 2 pieces of cord really, really tight, kind of like this, and then tie our electrical tape all the way around it. And I'll show you what that looks like after I finish just going down and up a couple of times, because we're going to do something special here on the transition area, and I'll show you what that is. Alright, so I've gone ahead and finished the handle of the whip right here. I pulled these strands really tight and straight in the beginning, and then at the end here I made them kind of curled for 2 reasons. The first reason is to keep it from sliding through, and the second reason is to kind of add a little bit more texture to the grip of the handle. So for the transition, what we're going to want to do here is we're actually going to take our electrical tape and we're going to wrap it around like the first 6 inches a couple of times. So I would recommend doing is going down about 6 inches and then up and then 4 and then 2 and then kind of just build up this area right here, because you don't want this to break down. There's going to be a lot of tension and a lot of pressure kind of around this point. So you're going to want to keep it as kind of secured as possible. So that being said, this is a cheap kind of disposable whip that is functional. So don't expect it to last forever, but if you want to add a little bit more shelf life to this thing, you can build up this transition. So once we're done with that, I'm going to show you guys how to attach the fall. Alright, so I have an 18-inch section of parachute cord. This is going to be our fall. I used the lighter right here to singe off the ends to keep them from fraying. And now what we're going to do is attach it to our whip. So we're going to take one end, we're going to feed it through, just like that. We're going to loop it around the back and up front, just like that. And then we're going to pull the long end tight, just like that. And there we go. We have attached our fall onto our fall hitch. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make the cracker and attach it onto here, and then we're done. Okay, so I have a video on how to make crackers. However, I'm going to show you how to make a little quick cracker, a little kind of a fast version of it. So I cut a 12-inch section of paracord and I pulled out the inner strands. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie a knot on one end, just a little simple granny knot, just to keep the strands together. Just like that. Doesn't have to be pretty. And we're literally going to just twist the string just like that. We're going to keep on twisting until it looks a little bit tight. Then we're going to fold it over on itself just like that. We're going to pull. We're going to let that kind of twist in on itself like this. Again, it's not very pretty, but it will do. And then we just pull this, we just tie a knot in here, just like that. And then we take our scissors, make sure all the ends are together, they're all the same length. And there we go. We made our cracker. Now this is the most important part of the whip. This is actually going to go faster than the speed of sound and make that loud cracking noise that you hear when you actually do the whip, when you actually go to use the whip. So I'll show you how to attach that on right now. So you basically take your fall and your cracker right here, you open this up, the little eye, you feed that through just like this. So you have something that looks like that. You're going to want to curl this over the fall and then make a little loop out of it. You're going to want to take your cracker and pull it through the little loop. Just like this. And then pull that tight. There we go. We are done. We just made our little cracker and then we've attached it to our fall. Now the whip is officially done. However, do keep in mind that this will break down and deteriorate very quickly. So you may want to have some other crackers on standby because this will definitely break down fast. I have a video on what to look for. I'll put a card right up here in the top corner if you want to check that out. It'll also be at the end of this video, so you can click on that once this video is over. However, this whip is done, so let's go out and give it a few test cracks. Well, that pretty much does it for today's video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out my website and my eBay store. Both links are in the description down below. On my eBay store, I have a bunch of whips and crackers for sale if you guys are interested. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.